So there is no leisurely way out. We are leaving the Dominican Republic this morning. The original time of departure was actually tomorrow. It was supposed to be actually a really good seas and a really comfortable sail. But hurricane, or almost Hurricane Brett, is almost upon us, and it is doing some crazy, wacky things. And if anybody's sick of hearing about hurricane talk on our channel, you're gonna get another one. Summary is, it's coming here. It's coming a little faster according to some models. So we're docked up at the fuel dock. We're gonna get fuel, and we're going to get south as fast as possible to Curacao. It's not something that we like to do, which is try to, I think, basically outrun a hurricane, but we kind of have to. We have talked to multiple weather reporters like Chris Parker, and they've all given us their blessing. They think it'll be fine. So we're not leaving without a plan and without research. We're okay. It's just that we're ready for the worst. We're gonna set up, once this is done, we're gonna set up jack lines. This is gonna definitely be a life vest the whole time, and maybe anchored in even the whole time, tethered in, but yeah, so a little stressful. All right, sit rep. Well, I guess full disclosure, usually when we do a multi-day trip, first day we don't pick up the camera much because we're still sort of getting into the groove of things and the shift work and everything, and so we, maybe pick it up for really great sail look or anything, but for the most part we have it down well. Other than for maybe a sit rep, and usually it's pretty straightforward because the first days usually we're just trying to get out of the area, of the direct vicinity of the area that we're leaving in. So this time it was basically going straight downward through the Mona Passage, which is between Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and should be pretty straightforward. It wasn't really. So we got out, we had the sails up, we had the wind. It was like 15-20 knots of wind, but the waves were coming at such a angle and speed that it didn't let us get to speed. So we kept going at 3.5, 4.5 knots, which usually we're okay with. Sometimes, the waves die down and we would pick up speed, and if it takes an extra day to get there, it's not a big deal. We were kind of on a direct route to where we needed to go, so it usually doesn't make a difference, except when we're trying to outrun a hurricane. So we turned on the engine and we said, let's just, have it at about 1500 RPM or so, just to give us that little bit of a boost to get us there on time, which is basically before early Friday morning. So nowhere after Friday PM, noonish, did we want to be out sailing because of Hurricane Brett. So we're trying to outrun this hurricane. The waves aren't really helping us, and so we turn on the engine, and about 2 or 3 hours in, the engine started to sputter and sputter, and a very long day made short. We could not get the engine to work. We changed the filters, we changed the secondary line. We do think this was a fuel starvation situation, but we tried everything under the books. We had full Starlink connection, so we looked things up, and we talked to friends who are very experienced, and all the lists they gave us, we tried everything, and it was close to sunset when we decided that we could not make the engine work. So decided that either we keep going and try to outrun a hurricane without a working engine and hope that we gain speed along the way at some point on day 2 or day 3, or we make a decision that we've never really had to make, but we always have looked at some of our sails and been like, maybe we should have made that decision, which was to turn around. So we did. Around sunset, we turned around and we started to head to where we are going towards, which is La Romana in Dominican Republic. So we didn't want to go back to Punta Cana because for a myriad of reasons. But La Romana was the shortest, best route to get back to. It's a port of entry. It's got a haul-out yard. It's got a shipyard. It's got a big marina. It can help us figure out what's wrong with our engine. And There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's some immediate unanswered questions of how we're going to get into port. We've got, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. We're waiting for the marina to open to see if they can have someone tow us in. Really heartbroken about the consequences of what this means and what it could mean, not about the actual decision itself. I feel really proud of myself and Dave because we made a decision that I think is best for us and best for Turtle. Sometimes sales don't work out, and if you stubbornly say, no, we made this, decision in the sum cost fallacy and whatever it is, we have to make it. We've already been sailing for a day, let's just make it. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to try to outrun a hurricane. If there was no system following behind us, we could take our time to get there. We even with a broken engine and then get towed in Curacao. But that's not the reality here. And we are certainly not going to try to outrun a hurricane with a broken engine. That's just not cool. That's not safe. So yes, we are going to limp back to Dominican Republic, and we'll get to see a new city, which is really exciting. Actually, we did want to visit the city, we just didn't have the time because we wanted to leave because of the hurricane. So, and there are some reports that it may actually not touch the Dominican Republic anymore, which would be really, really great. But yes, it is what it is some days. So, update. Kind of like when you're searching for something and it's in the last possible place that you would possibly look for it. The last possible option that I thought the marina would choose is the one that they chose, which is just to reject us. And reject entry. So basically we got in touch with them at around 8 o'clock, so we had to kind of putter around there till about 8:15, which is when they answered the phone. And they basically listened to our story and said no. They have a slip reservation system on their website. We put it in yesterday when we decided that we were going to go there. I guess the person who checks that isn't there today. It's a Wednesday morning, but they're not there today. So they can't help us. We told them, it's an emergency, our engine has died, we're right outside of your breakwaters. Is there a temporary slip? We did see that they take transient berths, so they said without that slip reservation, they couldn't help us. They couldn't even offer us an anchorage, a temporary tie-up at the fuel dock, just to, give us a break. Nothing. They just basically said, go somewhere else, we can't help you. There was a marina name they gave, but it's not a marina that can take sailboats, and we'd already explained that we're a 40-foot sailboat. So it was just one of those, just gave us names. So we turned around, tucked our tails, took a deep breath. It's very, very frustrating. I mean, it's one thing to stick to the rules, and if we had broken any rules, that, we would understand that. If there was an immigration issue, we would understand that, but this was literally just paperwork, and they just had no empathy. There was no empathy, there was no consideration for the fact that we were exhausted with a broken engine and that we needed a place for respite, but whatever. So we turned around, we decided to head back to Punta Cana, and so we basically gave ourselves the best angle, and ironically, we are pointed towards Curacao, but we're never going to make it now before the hurricane. We're making decent speed, mostly because we're sort of in an armpit of Dominican Republic, so it's protecting us from the full force of the Caribbean Sea waves right now. In about 3 hours, we will hit those waves and then turn. We'll see how rough of a ride it is, but we don't have a choice. There's another option to go to Puerto Rico to see if they would let us, but it's across the Mona Passage, and the hurricane is just way too close for us to take that kind of risk. So yeah, back to Punta Cana we go. This was a very failed, well, it'll be a very failed 48 hours because we won't get there till middle of the night. We'll slow down again to get there during the day. I've already texted them. They've said that they can tow us. They're trying to decide how far out they can come to get us. We may actually have to go through the markers into the marina itself, and then they'll take us. I'm not sure. It'll depend on what they have and what they'll let us do. But one thing we did get from them that we did not get from here was empathy. They're trying to help. They're doing their best, which is really all we ask for and what we hope for. So it is what it is. Was okay, other than the fact that lightning was lighting up the sky, and we went through 3 squalls, but whatever, we got through it, and it was very, very, very terrifying. But we are about an hour from the marina, so we have asked for the tow. They said that they were going to send a tow. I think the tow might actually be the Navy, which is pretty intense. We're not exactly sure what the procedure is here, but we're gonna go with it. I mean, we don't really have a choice. We can get her to the mouth of the marina. We would prefer to be towed into the marina, but if they say they'd rather us try to get into the marker channel using the marker, we can try to sail in. So we'll see we will take our guidance from what they say and what they can do. Not sure how payment works or anything, so very unknown, but journey is almost done. Circular journey, and we're hoping this one last step is not very difficult and we can get in without much issues. So let's see, fingers crossed. If it is the Navy, we're probably not going to record any of that of getting in, but if they're okay, if everyone seems okay with it, we may record us getting in. But yeah, stay tuned. ¿Lo siento qué? Sí, sí, sí. 1, 2. Got it? Ready? so we're docked. The Armada pulled us in expertly. There's a little bit of damage to the boat, but nothing that we can't fix. We'll just look at that later. But we're in. Our immediate problem of getting off the ocean is gone. Very, very happy to hear that. Dave is finishing up with some immigration stuff, and we are going to get all settled in and rested. Except we can't quite. So the next immediate problem that was unforeseen was power. So we got pulled into kind of a T-dock because they could not maneuver the boat well enough to get us into a slip. So the pedestal that we got pulled to does not have any power because of construction that maybe you could hear a little bit, but that means that it is 97 degrees on the boat and we have no power to plug in to turn on our AC. And we have been pushing our solar a little hard. We also have some issues with our solar, which we'll go over later. But the boat is running out of power, so we can't really stay here. So the immediate issues are, yes, get settled in, but we can't plug into anything because we have to get the engine fixed to move to a slip that has power. So for tonight, that is not going to happen because neither of us have enough energy to do that. So I think it's looking for a hotel room and getting settled in and resting and talking to you tomorrow when we continue this saga. A big thank you to our Patreons, Chris and Justin Fagan.